We want to hear this breakdown about how the Rams could potentially win the NFC West. Talk to us, Steve.
Yeah, well, what's holding it up for them at 99.9% is this. They could lose to the Seahawks next week, tie atop the standings in the division, and to break that tie, you'd then have to go all the way to the fifth tiebreaker, which is strength of victory, the combined record of every team you've beaten this year. Now, the Rams have the clear leg up over there on Seattle, but they haven't yet clinched that tiebreaker. Here's the matchups this week that affect strength of victory. Wins by these teams helping the Rams' strength of victory. Wins by these teams helping the Seahawks. The Rams coming into this week had a 3.5 magic number. Basically 3.5 wins they need on this side. Remember, a tie is half a win. They already got Cincinnati over Denver. They got Buffalo over the Jets. It looks like Minnesota could beat Green Bay here momentarily. That would mean 0.5. 1/2 game magic number for the Rams. They could get it tonight. Washington win or tie. Rams clinch this tiebreaker, clinch the division. If not, Seattle would need Detroit then to win tomorrow, and then Seattle would need all this. Every single one of these teams would then have to win next week. That's how Seattle could still catch the Rams.
Break it down for us, Steve.
Yeah, 3 teams going for that final spot. Denver now sits in it. Here's the playoff checklist for each of these teams. Look, the Broncos, if they could have just beaten Cincinnati yesterday, that would have been enough. They would have clinched. Instead, they miss. Next week, they host Kansas City. Are the Chiefs resting starters? The Broncos, if they win that game, check mark. They're in the playoffs. That's it. But if the Broncos lose next week, look, it's a check mark for both the Dolphins and for the Bengals. And look how wide open the door would be for the Dolphins. They would then just need to beat the Jets, and it would be the Dolphins making the playoffs. From the Bengals standpoint, they need Miami to lose next week on top of Denver. If both of those things happen, no small order here, but Cincinnati just has to beat Pittsburgh, do all of those things. The Bengals would end the year on a 5-game winning streak, would sneak into the playoffs, and would go to Buffalo against a Bills team that would probably rather play someone else.
Steve Kornacki, what does it mean for the race to the 1 seed in the NFC?
Yeah, well, Maria, either way, it has been a while. The last time the Vikings were the NFC #1 a quarter century ago, and in the half century they've been doing playoff seeding, the Lions have never been #1. Now, by holding off the Packers, the Vikings do, for the moment, move into that #1 spot. But you see, even with that, only a 39% chance of staying there. That's because Detroit still has to play the Niners tomorrow, and no matter what happens in that game, next week, as you say, is for all the marbles. Vikings will be going to Detroit, so Detroit is favored because of that. And the stakes here doubly high. This won't just be for the 1 seed, for the bye, for home field, but again, because they're from the same division, whoever doesn't win next week is going to tumble all the way to the 5th seed and will make the playoffs as a wild card team, potentially looking at a 14-win wild card team. Have we ever seen that before? They were the 99 Titans. They were 13-3. This might be a first that we're looking at.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.